Hey, this is Jeff again with the Valhalla Ventures, ReigniteService.com, ReiguideService.com. Want to do a real quick video. I'm driving to go meet with someone about their property, take a look at it, see if there's anything I can do to provide see if I can provide any value. And I think that this person's quite interesting. She buys older houses, older properties, not even just houses. She buys older properties and fixes them up. And, you know, there's a lot of older properties in the area that she's doing this, but there's not a lot of people that know how to fix older properties, like contractors, trades. A lot of people just don't know how to fix it. Like, you can kind of guide them in the right direction, and then they can help you come up with solutions that fit current codes, but also, you know, don't mess up aesthetics. But you really have to work and know a lot. And this is not something that she's done forever. She's retired from another profession in which she's also an expert. I consider her an expert, though, in these older houses, even though in talking to her or communicating with her, she would say that she's not an expert. You know, she's having to look up and watch Google or watch YouTube videos, watch, you know, go to different websites and watch manufacturer's installation guides, probably watches a little bit of This Old House, that kind of stuff. But that's how you're an expert, right? Like, I think that the rule that you took 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, at doing something, I think that has to have been cut down a little bit by the advent of technology. Now, technology is not all good, and there's a lot of bad stuff that comes with technology. You know, you have the scammers and that kind of thing. But scammers, you know, people tend to think of like a bunch of people just sitting in like a big warehouse space with a bunch of desks and everything lined up. And they're all just, you know, with headsets. But they're, you know, and then there's the other kind of scammers. They're just like individuals sitting at their house, you know, talking about they need to raise money for their kitten with cancer or whatever it is. And they don't even have a kitten. So, I mean, there's different kinds of scammers, there's different kinds of risks and whatnot with technology, but the thing that people don't really talk about is the scammers in this business that aren't like as organized or maybe even as intentional. And that's the people that go on to groups and say that they're an expert at stuff. They give advice, they, you know, argue. I didn't even think about this until just literally this very second. But I had a conversation where I was talking online about in a real estate investment group, and I was talking about something that was being done that was shady or whatever. And someone commented, "Hey, stay in your lane. Just let people do their business. Mind your own business. This is just capitalism. This is how this works. You obviously don't know anything about real estate," so on and so forth. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I responded with a logical and well thought out response. And of course, then they started calling me a jerk and like whatever, that I should just mind my business, that I should just let people scam and rip off others in this business, because if they're not scamming or ripping me off, then they're taking out the competition or some bullshit logic like that. And then I was like, you know, I gotta see who this guy is. Like, what's going on here? And I click on it, on his little name, his profile, and he's been in business this month. Like, he literally just started doing real estate investments October of 2022. Am I gonna debate this guy? Am I gonna try to educate him for free? Am I gonna invest my energy? Yes, because I'm human. I do stupid shit like everybody else. So I went back and I commented again and I said, hey, listen, man, I'm not saying that I'm going to run this person down and like beat them up. I'm not calling the cops on them. I'm saying that there's shady business practices and there's quality business practices. And, you know, you can say it's capitalism, whatever, but pure capitalism is fair and it's everybody's, working under the same general rules. That's capitalism. And when people break those rules, that's going outside of capitalism. And there's a mix, So I don't know. And then he told me to go F myself, is his response. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that, if I wouldn't have clicked on his profile, I could have invested time in that. I could have wasted time in that. But instead, when he said fuck off or whatever, I said, well, listen, man, I'm not going to get my feelings hurt or schooled by someone that's been in the business for a month. So I appreciate it. You have a good day. Good luck to you. And I hope that you don't do scammy or fraudulent stuff, because at some point, if you ever want to be legitimate, you have to go back and clean all that up. And it's much harder to clean all that up looking over your shoulder and worrying than it is if you would have just done it right in the first place. So anyway, I'm on my way to go meet this person. She's a legitimate expert, not because she goes around and tells everybody that she's an expert, but because she knows the names of lentils and different aspects of the project that she's researched and learned about. And she'll go, if she doesn't know about this gas electric hybrid lamp, she'll go research and figure out everything there is to know about it. Do you call a plumber or do you call an electrician? I mean, the answer is both. The point that I'm making is to be an expert might be $10,000 hours, $10,000, you can be an expert. 10,000 hours and you're an expert, and that's possible, I guess. But I think the reality of it is just not knowing all of the answers, but getting to a point where you know that you can find the answers. And maybe the answers are going to be really, really, really hard to find. And whatever it is, you can find what you need to continue to move forward, to progress on your path, to become a better version of yourself. Being an expert is not a point. It's not a goal. It's not an end zone. Being an expert is just knowing as much as you possibly can about a topic and being willing to know as much more as there possibly is to know, because you can never know everything. But you're not an expert by commenting your feelings on Facebook, or a couple of people at a meetup told you that this was a cool idea, or someone that you're paying to be a mentor told you that something's good. You have to have the ability to not rely solely on just one other person or something you heard, but that you feel confident to get the validations and those things on your own, where you don't need to just go, okay, well, I don't know anything about plumbing, so I got to call random plumbers. Obviously you're not an expert, right? But to be an expert contractor, you don't have to know everything about plumbing. You just have to know who the plumbers to call and how to deal with them and how to get a bid from them and how to make sure that they're doing the things right, and how they're, make sure they're getting permits and make sure that they're, doing their phased inspections, because plumbing, depending on what it is, has different kinds of inspections. There's the rough end, there's the cover up, and there's the final. So there's different aspects of this business that you need to know, and knowing that you need to know lots of different stuff and be willing to stop and evaluate and look around, that's what makes you an expert. I don't know how many hours that takes. I know that I didn't feel like an expert, and sometimes still question, I'm an expert for sure. But in my brain, I'm like, man, how can I still not know as much as I don't know and be an expert? It's my willingness to find out. It's my willingness to learn, and my willingness to engage in conversation without having to be like, no, what are your qualifications? Before I speak to you, before I respond to you, what are your qualifications? What do you know? I don't treat people like that. I go ahead and I respond, and I treat them with the respect that they know what they're talking about. They wouldn't be speaking on a topic that they know nothing about if they know nothing about it. So I respect people in that way. But then you also need to learn not to invest too much time, too much energy into that type of thing. And that's what it takes, is some of those failures and figuring those things out and being disappointed and let down. Those things are important, because as those things happen, the failures should be teaching you a lesson. There's only so many ways you can fail, and if you can knock out 85% of them, then you'll be really successful at business, right? I just think that if this person that I'm meeting, she's had a lot of different experts come out and tell her, oh, just replace all those windows. I'll just put this kind of roofing on. I'll just put this kind of flashing on. We'll just rip out all that hardwood flooring. We'll just But she has to have what she wants, what she needs, what her desires are, and actually have the education to know that what she's wanting is even reasonable. Because you can't just say, it's mine, I want it, and I'm going to have it the way I want it. Well, sure, if you're just going to throw a ridiculous amount of funds at something, most things are possible in, construction or real estate. But that's not how things work in the real world. In the real world, you can only spend so much money on a project. You can only spend so much time on a project. You only have so much time. You only have so much money. You can get more money for a project, but you can't really get more time. You can take time from other places and put it into that project, of course. But I digress. My point being is that having a couple of different roofers take advantage of you, have a couple of different foundation companies take advantage of you, and then you won't have that happen anymore. There might be mistakes, there might be problems, but you won't set yourself up to be in a position where that can happen to you. All right? That's what it is. That's what being an expert is. Anyway, be blessed, bless others. This is a really long video. I'm almost there. I'm not. But I need some time to just chill. I don't really like to just have a lot of noise right before I show up. I like to clear my thoughts, get prepared. Anyway, be blessed, bless others. ReiguideService.com, ReiguideService.com. If you have any questions for me, I look at residential, multifamily, commercial, warehouse, storage, development, repositioning, work for individuals, real estate investment trusts. I've worked with a lot of lawyers. I can help. Later.